A segregated theater that helped launch the careers of several blues and jazz legends where the good seats were for black people, right here in downtown Pensacola. Hi, I'm Pensacola public historian Joe Vinson. You probably know that during segregation, most theaters, if they allowed black people at all, made them sit in the balcony or another section with a worse view of the stage. There was often a separate entrance like this one from the Pensacola Sanger Theater. But here on East Belmont Street, next to what is now the Handlebar, there was a theater where, for a time anyway, they flipped that around. Black patrons got the good seats, and white patrons had to sit in the balcony. The Belmont Theater began in the former Allen Chapel AME Church. When the congregation moved to their new and current building, just north of here on Guillemard Street, they sold it to saloon owner Mitchell Jacoby for $1,000 in 1904. He turned it into a vaudeville theater featuring black performers instead of the usual white performers in blackface. This was opposed by the neighbors at the time, who complained the place was a nuisance. Keep in mind that at this time, the passenger depot right around the corner on Tarragona Street was the city's main transportation hub, so this neighborhood would have been pretty loud already. The theater's original in-house troupe was Benbow's Chocolate Drops, later the Alabama Chocolate Drops, led by Montgomery native William Benbow. Among the members was a murderer's row of vaudeville talent and blues and jazz pioneers. Comedians Arthur Happy Howe and Butler String Beans May, the mother of the blues herself, Gertie Ma Rainey. Jelly Roll Morton was a regular musician here in the early years. The Chocolate Drops consistently packed the theater, and maybe surprisingly to them, they were reliably paid. According to a 1909 issue of the Indianapolis Freeman, quote, "Our manager, M. Jacoby, always wears a smile on his face and says it is his heart's delight to pay his people." New acts were recruited to perform for maybe just a few nights or for weeks-long engagements, depending on their popularity. After a 1911 fire destroyed the old wooden church, a new, larger brick building was constructed here. Citing sickness, Jacoby stopped managing the theater in 1912. He died the following year, shortly after it was announced that white patrons could attend performances and sit in the balcony. Management changed hands a few times in the following years, but those successors were not as well liked. Several performers, including Ma Rainey, published alerts warning other artists that they might not get paid at the Belmont. E.L. Cummings eventually became owner of the Belmont Theater, and he and other theater owners joined forces to create the Southern Consolidated Vaudeville Circuit in 1918 to connect artists with affiliated theaters across the South. Disagreements between circuit leadership caused a reorganization in 1921 that created the Theater Owners Booking Association, or TOBA, which became the dominant circuit for black vaudevillians. Many performers joked that TOBA stood for Tough on Black Actors, or, according to Ma Rainey, Tough on Black Asses. Also in 1921, the jazz musical Shuffle Along, featuring an all-black creative team, became a crossover Broadway hit. Across the country, white audiences became more interested in black entertainers. In Pensacola, manager Cummings started advertising midnight rambles in the white newspapers, like when Empress of the Blues Bessie Smith performed here in 1930. Other Belmont performers, though less known at the time, included the Goodson sisters. They learned piano at a young age so they could play at Mount Olive Baptist Church, where their father was a deacon. Many of them went on to have musical careers, having honed their skills accompanying singers like Ida Cox and silent movies at the Belmont Theater. Wilhelmina, or Billy Goodson, married jazz trumpeter D.D. Pierce, and the two of them were regular performers with the Preservation Hall Jazz Band in New Orleans. Sadie Goodson left music to pursue a career in nursing, but later in life began performing again with her second husband, New Orleans bandleader George Kid Chic Cola. Ida Goodson, who remained in Pensacola, was a popular church organist who moonlighted playing jazz piano in local clubs and received the Florida Folk Heritage Award in 1987. With the decline of vaudeville, the Belmont focused increasingly on movies, likely showing many films by Oscar Micheaux and other early black filmmakers. But after management changed again in 1931, the theater started showcasing all-white cast shows. Clinton Vukovich took over the theater around 1939, and advertisements began touting that the orchestra seats were now for white people. This photo from 1946 shows the door labeled Colored Entrance off to the far side of the building. The nearby Ritz Theater on the same block but facing Tarragona Street served black audiences exclusively. The Belmont had closed by 1957 and was put up for sale. There were no takers, however, and in 1961 a classified ad offered 14,000 nicely cleaned, used bricks for a reasonable price. So that was the ignominious end of the Belmont Theater, but it was, for many years, a showcase of black vaudeville, blues, and jazz talent. I hope you enjoyed this example of the rich Black history we have here in Pensacola. Please follow for more history videos and give me suggestions in the comments of what I should cover next. Thank you very much.